Welcome back to the Talking Ketamine podcast. This is episode 45, Ketamine Reimagined.
Good to be here. Today we're looking at a fascinating paper by Sophie Holland that argues we might be thinking about this molecule all wrong. It asks a fundamental question. Is ketamine a reset button for the brain, or is it a relational tool for the heart? And does the dose change the entire definition of the therapy?
That really is the core tension, isn't it? Because, ketamine is already such a staple.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines for what, over 40 years now?
That's right, as an anesthetic. Its safety profile in clinical settings is rock solid.
But now we're in this new frontier, mental health.
Yeah.
And what we're exploring today is this idea that it has two, really distinct therapeutic pathways.
The psychedelic and the psycholytic.
Exactly.
And the paper's mission here is just so important because this isn't some, academic debate. This directly impacts how treatment is structured.
It changes everything.
It really does. We need to get clear on how significant these dose-dependent differences are, because that dose determines the entire intervention for things like severe depression, anxiety, addiction, PTSD.
So understanding the pathways lets us personalize the medicine.
That's the goal. Truly personalized medicine.
Okay, but before we get into the two pathways, we have to clear something up. This ongoing confusion about its classification, is ketamine actually a psychedelic?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's a real debate. I mean, when the psychiatrist Humphrey Osmond first coined the term, he was talking about classic psychedelics.
Like psilocybin or LSD?
Exactly. The mind-manifesting substances. And those classics, they primarily work on the 5-HT2A receptor.
But ketamine is a different beast entirely, chemically speaking.
Completely. It's mainly an NMDA receptor antagonist.
And just for anyone less familiar, those NMDA receptors are, they're critical for things like learning and memory. Blocking them is what creates that dissociative state.
Right. And that different neurochemical pathway is why some purists say, nope, not a classic psychedelic.
But, this is a big but, the patient experience tells a very different story.
It really does. The subjective effects, they overlap so much with the classics, even at lower doses. People report altered states, auditory distortions, visual hallucinations.
And non-ordinary states of consciousness. It's also known for helping recall repressed memories, which is a hallmark of these compounds.
So regardless of the label, this is where the molecule gets really revolutionary. It's recognized as a psychoplastogen.
That word is a mouthful.
It is, but the concept is it's profound.
So break it down for us. What is a psychoplastogen?
It basically means a substance that can induce neurogenesis and synaptogenesis.
So it helps create new brain cells and new connections between them.
Exactly. It's causing structural and functional changes in the brain. Think of your brain like a house. If you want to break old habits, you're not just, repainting a room. You might need to rewire the whole building.
Build a new addition, maybe.
That's what psychoplastogens do. They enhance neuroplasticity.
And that ability for the brain to structurally change, that's the foundation of its therapeutic power. The advantage with ketamine is that its safety profile is so well established.
Right, which makes it an incredibly accessible tool for studying these kinds of brain changes.
Okay, so that capacity for change is always there. But the experience, the actual therapeutic use, that's where the dose comes in.
Highly dose-dependent.
And that brings us right to the two modalities.
Let's start with the big one, the psychedelic pathway. We're talking high dose here.
The high dose route. This leads to really intense altered states, dissociation, mystical experiences. The whole goal is often ego dissolution, self-transcendence.
The reset button.
That's it. And the mechanism behind this is fascinating. It's a rapid increase in glutamate transmission that floods the synapses.
So when you block those NMDA receptors, the brain overcompensates by releasing this massive burst of glutamate.
It's like flipping on a whole new set of circuits in the brain all at once. It's this pure neurochemical action that really sets it apart from traditional antidepressants. And therapeutically, the outcome is fast.
Very fast. Swift symptom reduction, which is just vital for severe depression, suicidality, treatment-resistant PTSD. That profound separation from the self lets you emotionally decouple from trauma.
And gives you that enhanced cognitive flexibility.
Now, let's contrast that with the other path, the psycholytic pathway.
The low dose.
Exactly. This is much more subtle. It modulates consciousness, brings you into this relaxed, almost trance-like state.
But, and this is the key part, you stay connected.
You stay connected to the present moment, to the therapist. It's not about that immersive dissociation.
So the goal changes completely. It's not about ego dissolution anymore.
No, it's more like ego loosening. The idea is to reduce your psychological defenses during therapy.
So you can access repressed emotions or memories, but with less fear.
Precisely. It creates this safe space for gradual emotional exploration and real relational work with the therapist.
So if you put them side by side, the psychedelic path is for rapid, transformative breakthroughs. It's intense, needs careful management.
Right. And the psycholytic path is less intense, more controlled, and it actively speeds up the psychotherapy itself.
But this brings up a challenge for clinicians, doesn't it? If the high dose is a reset button that offers such fast relief, is the gentle low-dose path just too slow for someone who is really struggling?
That's such an important question. It's this balance of efficacy versus, say, accessibility and integration. The paper really emphasizes that the psycholytic approach is designed to enhance self-reflection.
So it makes the material you discuss in therapy more pliable.
Yes, it's about maximizing the long-term benefit of the therapy itself, not just relying on the pharmacological shock of the high dose.
Which really just underscores how critical integration is. Even with those huge high-dose experiences, you need the therapy.
The synergy is essential. It improves outcomes for both modalities.
Yeah.
The medicine opens the door, but the therapy is what helps you walk through it. A holistic approach is vital.
Okay, let's shift to policy and safety. We have to talk about public concerns, recreational use, potential for dependence.
We can't ignore it. And we really can't ignore the physical risks of chronic high-dose use.
The paper is pretty explicit about that.
It is. It mentions the link to severe lower urinary tract symptoms, including ketamine-associated ulcerative cystitis.
Which can lead to incredibly painful long-term complications. That is a serious, serious risk.
A very serious risk.
So does choosing the psycholytic approach, the lower dose path, actually reduce that likelihood?
That's one of the key arguments being made here. When you're talking about lower doses administered sublingually or intranasally in a controlled clinical setting, the risk of those adverse outcomes is inherently reduced.
It just offers a safer, less invasive, and maybe more accessible model of therapy.
And that brings us right back to personalization.
The right tool for the right job.
Precisely. If a low dose with psychotherapy works for general anxiety, for example, it offers a path that minimizes physical risk and maximizes that relational processing.
Okay, so looking forward now. If ketamine is this powerful psychoplastogen, where else can this science take us? Beyond just treating mental illness.
Well, the potential really extends beyond psychiatry. We're talking about using that psychoplastogenic capability for neurological recovery.
Like after a spinal cord injury.
Potentially. Or other conditions where neuroplasticity is impaired, literally helping the nervous system rebuild itself.
What's surprising to me, though, is the research gap in one specific area.
Wellness and optimization.
Right.
Yeah.
The paper points out this major gap in the research on healthy individuals.
It's true. We've been so focused on fixing what's broken that we haven't spent nearly enough time exploring how to optimize what's already working.
What kind of optimization are we even talking about here?
The suggestion is that low-dose sublingual ketamine, when it's paired with integrative practices.
Like mindfulness or journaling?
Right. It could enhance cognitive functions,
Mm-hmm.
boost creativity and problem solving. It could even improve teamwork in professional settings by increasing empathy.
So using that low-dose pathway not just to manage distress, but to actually enhance the brain's ability to connect and innovate.
It really expands the whole spectrum, from illness treatment all the way to performance enhancement.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? The key takeaway here is that ketamine isn't just one tool, it's a whole spectrum. And that spectrum is defined by dose.
The high-dose path is that reset button,
Mm-hmm.
a profound, rapid transformation for severe treatment-resistant symptoms.
And the low-dose path is the relational tool. It gently opens the mind to psychological processing and self-reflection, and it can profoundly enhance the therapy itself, all with a potentially lower physical risk.
And this distinction between psychedelic and psycholytic,
Mm-hmm.
it isn't just academic, it really demands a radical change in how we structure clinical treatment. For you, the knowledge that a lower dose approach might offer enhanced self-reflection with a safer profile. Well, it raises a really important question.
Which is?
If ketamine's most lasting benefits come from integrating the experience, should the goal always be the most intense experience or the one that best facilitates relational work?
A compelling thought to leave you with. Thank you for joining us for this analysis. We'll catch you next time.